Hi there, this is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer, with another book review. In this video we're discussing The Overnight Guest, written by Heather Gudenkauf. It is a book on the GOODREADS top thriller mystery novels for the first 6 months of 2022. I'm not totally sure how they made this list, what the formula was. I think it's something to do with how many votes they get, how many comments it gets, that sort of thing. But in some cases, I'm wondering if it's more of a PR stunt, a promotion thing. And I'm wondering if this list really is the top 12 mystery/thriller novels for 2022. Anyway, let's talk more about this book now. This book flips between present and past. It uses the past storyline to build up the tension, because in the present storyline, there's not much tension at all, really. It didn't really grip me. The past storyline, I think, is much better. So in the present storyline, we have Wiley. Not the coyote, but a person who's staying at a secluded farmhouse, in the middle of a snowstorm, as it happens. She's a true crime writer, and the reason she's there is because she's writing about a crime that happened in that area, and in that house itself. And in this snowstorm, she ends up being cut off from everybody. And she dropped her phone earlier on. She has no phone, so she can't contact anybody. And there's no landline. And the power cuts out as well. She's going out to get some wood, because if she doesn't keep the fire going, she could freeze to death in her house. That's how cold it is. As she goes out to get more wood, she comes across the body of a child on the ground, almost frozen to the ground, this body. Small child. She has a quick look. The child is breathing still, just. So she takes the child into the house and sets about getting the child warmed up, trying to get the child back to life, so to speak. The real mystery is at the start. Where did this child come from? What was it doing in the middle of nowhere on the ground? What's going on there? And Wiley's not sure. So while she's trying to get this child back to life, that's running through her mind. What was the child doing there? She starts to wonder if the child came from an accident on the road. So she sets out to hike from the house to the road through the snow to see if she can see a car. She does see a car, and when she gets there, near the car, she sees a woman. Woman's lying in the snow. She's tangled up in wire. Wiley can't get her free, so she goes back to get some wire cutters or something to snip the wire to free the lady. When she goes back, the lady's gone. She's vanished. So that's another mystery. Where's this lady gone? So we've got a couple of good little mysteries going on in the present day storyline. Not much tension though, because there's nothing there to kind of put this main character Wiley's life in danger. So a suspense just by having a mystery of how people have arrived there and where did this lady go. I want to talk about the past storyline more though, because the past storyline is very suspenseful and very compelling. So in this past storyline, we have a family. 2 parents with 2 children, a boy and a girl. The 2 children are in their teenage years. The boy's older, and the boy's a bit of a handful, gets into trouble a lot, and the girl not so much. But on this day, the girl's got her best friend staying over for a sleepover, and they're going to go to the fair the next day. And the girls are thinking about 13 or so in this book. The boy's about 16, 17. The daughter's friend, she's a bit more mature just in her mindset, and she seems a bit more precocious, and she starts flirting with the girl's brother, also with one of the brother's friends. We see that happening in the book, and then we start to wonder what's going on there, because we know something bad happened. We've got a sense something bad happened later on. It kind of flips between knowing that and then building up to that. So we're wondering if one of these people were the cause of the bad thing that happened. Later on, during the middle of the night, the 2 girls sneak out to jump on a trampoline. While they're doing that, they hear these loud noises. The daughter knows what they are. She's grown up on a farm all her life. She recognizes it for gunshots. But instead of running away, she runs towards the gunshots at the start, dragging her friend with her. Then they see somebody standing there with a gun. They recognize who it is. We don't know who it is as the reader. They know who it is, then they start to run away. And this is where the real tension and suspense happens. As they're running away, their hands come apart, so she loses track of where her friend is. She runs off into the corn. The shooter shoots at her, wings her in the arm, but she goes and hides in the cornfield. Her friend is somewhere, doesn't know where. She doesn't know if her friend's got away, doesn't know where her friend is. Later on, we find out the friend's missing. We find out that this girl's parents have been shot. Her brother's missing as well. And this whole mystery starts. We've got police arriving. We've got people investigating. Was it the brother? Did the brother shoot his own parents and kidnap the girl's best friend? Who's taken this girl? Where is the brother? All this stuff's happening in this past storyline, so you can see why it's more compelling and more suspenseful than the present storyline. And this is where I'll leave the past storyline, because the twists in that storyline are so much better than the twists in the present storyline. By all accounts, the past storyline carries this book. The present storyline is a bit of a waste of time. There's a third storyline in this book, and it's the recent past, and it involves a lady and a young child in this room. They're locked in a room. They can't get out, and we just see snippets of their life, of their existence. Sometimes through the eyes of the child, sometimes through the eyes of the child's mother. These are very important parts of the story. Even though we only see small snippets, they're key parts of the story because they tell a key part between the distant past and the present. So the author's done a good job of kind of stitching these storylines together. It's not my favourite way of storytelling, mind you. I don't really like stories that rely on flipping between past and present. I don't think it's the best way to tell a story, in my own opinion. I prefer a linear storyline. I think that shows a bit more control as a writer. I think past and present flipping between the two shows less control. The conclusion of this story isn't that great. It's just too coincidental, and some things just appear out of nowhere. Some things happen, are cut off in the story. Their parts of the story are finished without any real conclusion, without any real sense of them finishing logically. So I think towards the end of the book, the author probably could have done a better job in creating that finish for us. And I think there are some parts that the author didn't know how to finish. Did it in a way that was quite lazy. I didn't really buy the end of this novel. I didn't think it was the best way to finish it. I didn't think it was well written. I didn't think that we deserved this kind of ending. I think we deserved a better ending. The character of Wiley, well, there's something missing about this character. It didn't fully engage me. I can't put my finger on what it was that's missing. There's something not there, some element that didn't make sense. I don't know if it's because it's meant to be a mystery/thriller, and the character didn't seem to be that much in danger for most of the novel. She was in fear of the cold more than anything else. And maybe that's the reason that I couldn't become engaged with this character, because I didn't believe the character's behaviour and motivations and actions. I didn't gel with the fact that this novel is meant to be something that keeps us in suspense. What this character goes through in the present storyline just didn't gel with that at all. The child character, I think the author did a better job with this character. You do get the sense that this character doesn't trust anybody. Something's happened to this child in its past, so it doesn't trust anybody and is fearful of any new person in their lives. So you get that sense in the book. That was really well done. I think more could have been done with this character though, to amp up the suspense and tension. Could have been more elements added to this child character. Just wasn't enough. Also, towards the end of the book, this character just feels too cool under pressure, too reserved and too resourceful, and that doesn't seem consistent with what this character was at the start when the child was first found by Wiley. There's no consistency towards the end, and that is a real disappointment because up till that part, I really believed the child character. It felt real, it felt lifelike. The strange lady from the car who vanished, and who does appear in the book later on, it becomes a bit of a central character in the present storyline. Another character that's well created for the start. Get her fear, get her unease being around new people, just get her afraid of life, really, it seems like this character is. So it was crafted well for the start, but at the end, the consistency again is not there. For a character that's put through something so traumatic in the past, just seemed too resourceful, seemed too secure in herself at the end, and too confident at the end. You would think this character would be a bit more afraid of everything, basically, even her own shadow, and didn't get that sense in this character. So while this strange lady is more well-rounded than our main character, Wiley, not 100% believable. Could have been written better. The Overnight Guest is an okay thriller. I still think the past storyline was much better than the present storyline, and for that I rate this a 3 out of 5. If the past storyline wasn't as good, it'd be a lower rating. And I wished that the present storyline was written as well as the past storyline, because then would have been a much better book. Unfortunately, the present storyline was a bit weak, left me wanting more. The characters, look, most of them are okay. The main character, not so much, which is a shame, because the main character should be the best character in a book. If it's not, that's a problem. And the ending of the book didn't sit well with me. I didn't believe the ending. I just felt it was too coincidental. The author was trying to force together things at the end to have them finish off nicely, and not all the things did finish off nicely, in my opinion. I do review quite a few thrillers on my channel. If you don't want to miss out on any of those videos, check out my channel and subscribe. There's also a thriller playlist on my channel. It should be on your screen now.